Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors podcast coming to you on a beautiful Sunday. It's Father's Day in the United States. I wanted to shout out to all the fathers out there. Hope you're enjoying whatever you can like to do, whether it's lounge at the couch, do nothing, drink beer, barbecue, or spend time with family, which is what fathers should be doing. um, I'm with Lumpia and Sirius today.
Ooh,
Hey
hey,
guys.
happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. And so I think the what we're going to talk about, since Hollywood is so freaking boring these days, having no news, we're going to talk about video games. And so let's talk about everyone's favorite father-daughter duo that was just released this week from Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog on Twitter has wished us a happy Father's Day. Uh, Yeah, I think we could talk spoilers now, right? I mean, I've not played the game. I read it. I've watched it on
Well,
YouTube.
we got in trouble, remember?
No, we got in trouble from we got a copyright strike from MGM Studios for our Bill and Ted reaction video, despite talking about how excited we are, which is kind of weird.
Counterintuitive, but okay,
Hey,
yes.
our little channel got copyright strike, so I don't know if
We're
it's a
moving
badge
on
of
up.
honor.
We're moving on up in the world.
Yeah. Um, that being said, please hit the like button, comment, or subscribe. So reason why I'm bringing out Naughty Dog is Last of Us 2 was released to the public on the 19th. Um, like I said earlier, in an earlier podcast, I've had very little interest in the series, but I think the controversy that has boiled up on the internet, boiled up on podcasts, it just reminds me so much of The Last Jedi. Um, so
Dear to your heart.
dear to my heart. So a lot of people that talk about this game, that love the first game, talk about how much they love the relationship between Joel over there and Ellie, about that dynamic of a man who's been broken, who lost his family in a zombie apocalypse outbreak, was just about to transport Ellie to a group to because Ellie has the immunity to said zombie virus. He decides to have a change of heart, but and save her, but do it in such a bloody fashion and selfishly save her life to prevent the opportunity of getting the cure. It's a long-winded way of saying that the journey made a lot of folks fall in love with Joel and Ellie. And so, with that said, let's change let's change a bit and let me get the right screen. Um, let's change it up to where it's at from a Metacritic standpoint. From a Metacritic standpoint, this is the very interesting part that again reminds me of The Last Jedi, where Metacritic score is 95, and there's this great infographic that PlayStation, in their beautiful marketing prowess, basically showed 10 out of 10s across the board. And so I guess a bunch of other sites gave it 95. Some actually gave it like a 65, which we can kind of get into. And the user scores went to a 3.8 out of 10. Um, a part of this could be trolling. If we look at this, right, we have 6,700 positive reviews and 176 negative reviews.
Mm.
Folks are theorizing this is a review bomb, meaning it's a bunch of people being trolls, um, and people being the usual ists, right?
Yeah.
I guess let me go to this Forbes article, which is actually really good. One day, I promise you all, I will get the transitions at the right transitions here. Here we go. So Forbes, I'm gonna hit the panel with two Forbes articles, and then we're gonna start the discussion. So this Forbes article on the 15th, this is around the time where reviewers got the review copy, and they just talk about this person, Eric Kane, talks about his observations with a lot of the reviews. So on the 15th, he noticed that it was getting a 96 Metacritic, numerous accolades, best game ever made, which is what I've seen a lot of. And we'll actually talk about this. Paul Tassi, he had a look an opinion piece. So he noticed that the review embargo was very strict. One of the things is that the reviewers, whether you're a YouTuber, IGN, you were not allowed to talk about this final 12 hours. Like, you could not even discuss whether you liked it or not, right? And as he points out, it's discussed very vaguely. They didn't want to they kept spoilers out as possible, but it's funny because the spoilers really leaked out were pretty accurate. So skipping through this article a bit, one of the things that he noticed is that a lot of even the folks who gave it the 10 out of 10s, what they do is they talk about how the stories needlessly bleak, characters changed from the first game, Luke Skywalker. The story is riddled with plot holes, Last Jedi. And then they talk about how it's this word is bleak, hopeless, despair, and then they gave it a 10 out of 10. So he talks about the skill up review, which I think was actually really good. And then it really just, yeah, I mean, it talks about the inconsistencies, about the fact that he saw how inside the article there's like a lot of hesitancy, so to speak. It's just constant grind of violence, gore, nothing to love per se. It's just very ugly. Humanity is just a horrible, horrible person, a horrible existence, despite the fact that we're at the end of the world. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting how polarizing this game is to folks. And then I think where I wanted to end this tee up is that in this opinion piece, no, not this one. This opinion piece right here from Forbes, Paul Tassi, who did the review. He gave the 95. He's saying that the reason why there was a 3.8 user score as of right now is because Joel's death, spoiler,
that's sad.
the agenda that people are just ists, and all that stuff. So I'm going to say the panel to you folks. I guess the question is, are we seeing Last Jedi here, or what do you think? I mean, this is the weirdest thing because I know this is a very heavily weighted for game, and I just find it fascinating how Sony really made such a actually Naughty Dog made such a polarizing game. So any of you two want to take a first bite at this apple?
What do you think?
I mean, like, this is interesting because, I mean, normally I don't pay attention to games that I'm not interested in. And Last of Us is one of those games that I was just never interested in. It's like I didn't play the first one. I have no intention of playing the second one, but everybody has their preferences. It's just because it has a 95 rating doesn't mean it has to be, everybody's cup of tea. But, on that point, I know there's a lot of, controversy going around about certain scenes that are in the game, particularly dealing with one character by the name of Abby, who doesn't quite look the way that people think that a woman should look like. There's so much, bullshit running around, and that's fine. I mean, it's like you designed the game. You can have a woman look however you want to look. Like, I'm completely fine with that. But it seems to me that, in the news, like, it seems that because men are not attracted to somebody like Abby, like they're like, on the subject of trolls, they're being like condescended upon. I mean, perfect example is, one of our favorite YouTubers, Tyrone Magnus, he just recently got called a bigot just because he did not find the character of Abby attractive. It's like what the fuck is going on, like, in this country, with shit like that. I mean, it's random shit like that it's like, if that's the attention that this game is getting, it's like, I really don't want anywhere near it, because it's like, it's okay to tell comic book artists, oh, you can't draw a female like that because it's too sexy, but but it's not okay for a guy to have a preference on what he finds attractive and what he doesn't find attractive. It's like I just don't understand it. It's like there's no two-way streets anymore. It's kind of like Center City, Philadelphia. It's like you're driving down Center City, Philadelphia, and it's like you don't know which way's one way and which way's the other. It's like there's not a lot of two-way streets down there. So it's like, but like I said, like the fact that it's getting that kind of attention, it's like, I don't want anything to do with it, and it's like it just turns me off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It just turns me off from the game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you kind of hit it on the head when you said, if this is the kind of attention, then you don't want to be. And I agree. I don't know what the plan was for this game, but maybe that's what they wanted. Like, maybe overall the attention that they wanted was to have this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it has to be controversial. It has to hit all these things because this is the attention they wanted. Maybe this is part of the marketing campaign for this game, because they didn't feel like they could stand on the legs that they had from the first one, which, to be honest, like I said, I never played it, but the premise was interesting. Like, it would be like a movie I might watch the very first one. Now it's become the sequel that I don't want to watch. You know what I mean? So exactly what you said, Fan, maybe this is The Last Jedi. Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that I've ever seen a game have so much polarizing activity going on in the internet, between Twitter, YouTube, between reviews and Metacritic. It really is polarizing, and I don't know if that was the plan for the marketing of this game, but maybe that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted a polarizing game to get people to be like, it's that polarizing, I gotta try it. Because, there are people like that who are like, I'm never going to pick up this game, but then all of a sudden it's in the news and you're like, well, then I gotta see what the whole big deal is about.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's what it could be.
I mean, and the other thing I see, with the comparison to Last Jedi, I think of like a good comes to mind is fans' favorite character, Rose Tico. Now I have nothing against. What was it, Kelly Marie Tran? Was that the act? I have nothing against her. I'm sure if I met her somewhere, I'm sure she's a very nice person. But I can't stand that fucking character. Yeah. I just don't like the character. But just because I don't like the character means I can't like the person. But it's like if you have a problem with Rose Tico, it's like you have a problem against female roles. You know what I mean? It's like get your head out of your ass. It's like, stop comparing apples to oranges. Yeah. It's like, it is what it is. Not everything has to have a cryptic fucking message. It's like, I don't like Rose Tico. Like, I never said I had a problem with Kelly Marie Tran.
I just find it fascinating because I think a lot of that 3.8 has probably less to do with Abby, less to do with Ellie's preferences. I actually just think it has to do with Joel dying in the way he died. Very similar to what I went through when I sat there and saw Luke Skywalker not be Luke that I've traveled with for 3 movies, to see him, this old man drinking the milk, the green blue milk, whatever, and then just dying like a fart in the wind. I saw that Joel death. It was pretty gruesome. Basically, Abby just took a. I'm sorry, this is spoilers, but the game's been out. You guys have already beat it anyway. But she just took a shotgun to the knee at close range. You just see that knee dangling, and she beats the living crap out of Joel with a golf club. Um, I just find it fascinating that I think that 3.8 is mostly driven by people just getting mad about Joel because that's a lot of their characters. I think people to a lesser extent liked Ellie. They liked her, but they liked how Ellie made Joel such a human character. And then when you took that person, their favorite character, you said, okay, I still have the runner up here. But then the runner up is just this angry stereotype of a female and just goes on a rampage, starts killing people for the hell of it, and then realizes that all she just went on was a murder spree. And you know what? I'm gonna compare it to another game, Lumpia. Instead of worrying about the greater danger, the greater threat of humanity has fallen, nature and the earth has taken over, and there's a lot of zombies. It's you're in a world where Dragon Age. You had Dragon Age 1 where you had a greater threat, the dark spawn. It united all these people, and then you decide to make it all about this politics of. And this was before all of this crazy stuff going on. I called it this politics in Dragon Age 2, which is the Templars versus the mages. It was fine. I understood what they were talking about. They were trying to hit home this classism issue or possibly racism or whatever. But then they kept continuing it for Dragon Age 3. I mean, they made it a bigger war. But to me, it was like petty. When you saw Darkspawn taken over, and it's a common threat that humanity and all the elves and all dwarves should be uniting, we're talking about freaking mages and Templars.
Yeah.
And it feels like, and again, I'm only reading the reviews, I read the Wikipedia, so unless it's completely off, watch some of the YouTube. It was this revenge thing under the guise of how petty is your revenge from both sides. Abby's revenge, Ellie's revenge, and then the ending was just this. You did all these brutal acts. You've like, I mean, the things that you could do. I mean, I'm mature enough to like violent games, but I'm like, it doesn't even look fun. It just looks, you're like going through 30 hours of just grindhouse, and it's for what? For revenge that's just at the end of the day hollow.
Yeah.
That, like for me, as a person who's not emotionally invested in Last of Us, I'm just going to wait till it's $5. I actually am more willing to play The Last of Us 1 to see why everyone loved Joel. But it's this idea that you took something good, and instead of it being about the bigger picture, it's just about this little microcosm of revenge.
Yeah. Which makes no, like, I agree with you. I like the allusion to what you said about Dragon Age, because that was what made the game for me was the whole Darkspawn thing. And when they took that away and made it this political thing, I didn't mind, but it wasn't the true heart of the game. And then when they continued it and didn't bring back the Darkspawn, and they brought in the architect, but they didn't really quite link him to the Darkspawn the way that I felt like they should have.
Yeah.
Then they kind of lost me, and it's sad because
you didn't even really try Dragon Age 3.
No, but at that point I was like, you know what?
That one's Inquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only played the first one. Mm-hmm. I've only played the first. I haven't played 2 or 3, but I should probably get into it. But like even if it is different, as you say, like I said, like I was invested in the first Dragon Age, so just like by default, regardless of the negative reviews, I'm gonna check it out for myself just so I can see. As opposed to, The Last of Us, is like I just never cared about that game at all. So especially, when it comes to like Last of Us Part 2, I'm not going to give 2 flying shits about it.
Yeah.
And sorry to add to that, whereas Mass Effect 1 through 3 kept the theme of the impending greater threat, Mass Effect Andromeda tried to set something, but the enemy was this. It wasn't an enemy that said, "I have no shot at beating them." I
Mhm.
think it was the Ket. It was like this. It just felt like, okay, these are piddly plots, you know. Let me get something meaty like the Reapers.
Yeah.
And that's where, for me, in a world where society has broken down, and your character Ellie is the only one with the immunity to this zombie virus, like, you know what I mean? Like, what can she do something greater? And they basically, a lot of the folks say they ended up hating the people they loved, and they loved the people they hated, which I guess they liked Abby. I'm surprised. Um, and I'm not even going to touch the Abby, the Abby, what she looks like. I'm just shocked that she can be more muscular than like Randy Orton. But and again, this is a zombie world where I don't know where you get steroids. I don't know where you get weights to do that, but that's beside the point, right? And it's kind of a minor issue. I think the big thing, this is Last Jedi ish, where Neil Druckmann did a Ryan Johnson, tried to swing for the fences by polarizing it, making this divisive. But when you make it divisive, you don't carry forward for part three. You don't carry most of your fans. You cut your fan base in half.
Mhm.
You think you got but you also have to, in order to carry success to part three, you've got to make up for those fans you lost. And I'm not necessarily sure that the audience they were trying to aim for plays video games.
Yeah.
They don't put 30 hours into a video game because they say they do. It's kind of what I talk about Marvel and DC Comics. They say they read these comics and they say they buy them, just
Mhm.
like Marvel Studios is probably going to do. They say they watch these movies. They say they buy the merchandise, but do they really? I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I made a bet with my friend Wushu that this is going to be in 30 days going to sell 5 million copies. So I'm interested to see if I will owe him a beer in this thing, because Twitter is for every positive I've seen about Last of Us, I see like 3 negatives for people who claim they've played it. And I don't know. The memes. I don't know. Have you folks seen the memes?
I saw what you sent us, and I wanted to burn my eyes.
Like, that scene was just like, why? Which is funny because Sony right now is getting killed because Sony has been censoring Japanese games that come to the US. So, like, anime girls are censored. But The Last of Us Part 2 is full. You see it all.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I have to find it. It's basically like, like, I don't know if you watched the movie, the anime set around Kagura. It's basically, it knows it's fan service. It's a fan service about ninja, female ninjas, right?
Yeah.
And it's a game. It's like a pretty basic game of just running around beating up things, but it's just like it does. It's fan service. Sony will censor, like, anime women or girls or whatever. But then I'm kind of shocked. I'm like, so they censor the Japanese visual novels, the romance, and all that stuff, but they don't censor that because it's the preferred body type. I don't know. I'm quoting your boy Zach from YouTube. the acceptable body type. I don't know. I just find that fascinating.
No, and that's what I think Tyrone was talking about. Like, she kind of blurs the lines. He said, I'll quote him, like, a woman who blurs the lines between, like, is she man? Is she a woman? Is she a woman? Like,
but it's not even that. Like, it's just a simple fact that, like, he just didn't find that type. And keep in mind, it's a video game character. I mean, not every guy has, just because like a character is like dressed sexy and stuff, doesn't necessarily mean like they're they're that like attracted to them. You know what I mean? It's like they appreciate the art. It's like why these comic book artists put out, you know, when you have people like J. Scott Campbell when they draw characters such as, like, you know, Mary Jane, you know, the way they do, the way they draw Black Cat the way he does, you know, it's beautiful art.
Wait, can I be a little controversial?
Go.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a meme.
Oh God, are we gonna
And
go in trouble?
this is a very old meme. Better than a couple, but this is basically the lead up to with the whole Last of Us leaks. This is the meme.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
That's Abby. These are the women who, and then on the right are the women that are censored.
That's just messed up. Dude, Abby looks like one of those MMA fighters on WWE or whatever.
Look, I think they originally said she was a woman who transitioned. I think what they've done is they've clarified that Abby is actually, I don't even know if they even clarify. She's a woman. I think no matter what, she's a woman.
Yeah.
If you listen to her voice in the stream, you know, on the streams, she sounds like a woman. For this meme is really just to talk about how, one, kudos to Japan for sticking to their style, but I just think that the Western developer style is not for everyone. It's okay that people like Tyrone are not quote unquote attracted to a fictional character. It's okay. Just like this attractive person named Tifa Lockhart is a fictional character. It's okay to, you know, understand that she's fictional. But I think this is actually a microcosm of, like, Hollywood. I'm bringing it back to the whole culture war, right? About how Hollywood's trying to make this image, but yet outside of Hollywood, outside this microcosm of the United States, it's different.
Yeah.
And
that is crazy.
Yeah.
And like, to your point, and I haven't played the game, where are you getting all of this equipment to do this? Where are you getting the steroids from? Like, where are you getting it?
I don't know.
Apocalypse world.
I think let's just end that part of it. Design wise, it's not for everyone, and it's fine. I just find the hypocrisy of Sony saying we're going to censor the Japanese style games, but we're going to show you everything to the point where you want to burn your eyes with Abby and her boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, you know, my last statement, like, it should just be a two-way street. Like if it's okay for people to say that you can't draw people like Tifa Lockhart, Black Cat, Poison Ivy, you know, whatever character, the way they're supposed to be drawn, it's the same thing. Like, we're allowed to have our preference on what we think looks good. Like, if they have their opinion on what should be drawn and what shouldn't be drawn, you know, we can have our preference on what we find. It's not even a matter of what we find attractive or not attractive. It's just not our cup of tea.
But at least Japan isn't censoring it. Like, they're not making the I get what you're saying, though, Dan. Like, Japan is not making the choice for people. They're saying, here it all is. Here, if you want it, whatever you want, octopuses, women, whatever, here it is. Take it.
They know their customer. Their customers never changed.
And for us, it's like, to hear Sony's doing that is kind of sad.
It's funny because Sony is a Japanese company, but I think what happened is that Sony of, you know, US really just took over, and that's fine. And I really still believe that despite the controversy that they're going to do financially well. It's not going to be a flop. There's just too many people that love the first one that they have to.
I mean, like I said, setting aside everything else, if it's a good game, good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine. And Some people might like that art style, and that we'll leave it at that. I just think we shouldn't hate each other for having constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's allowed their opinion, I guess, is what it is.
Right. But before let's end it. I think I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Is this going to be Last Jedi, where Part 3 is going to have an issue of carrying its fan base? I don't know. It's something we'll probably have to follow. But let's end it on a good note.
Yeah, that was a great topic.
Wait, let's end it on a good note because we need to give Lumpia her fill. What do you think? Keanu will land.
You know what? Hey, as long as we get it this year, I'll be happy. I'm sad. I sent you this article, I think, or something similar. I was really upset that it was delayed again. But if he comes and arrives this November, I'll be happy. We were out and about the other day, and I saw a figurine of Keanu as the
Johnny Silverhand.
Yes,
Johnny
Silverhand, and it was awesome. And I was just like, "How is the freaking action figure out, and the game is it out?" So I really hope if they're delaying it, they're going to give me more. That's all. Just to say that.
So PC or Xbox?
PC on this one.
Oh, PC Master Race all the way. With that said, yes, for our podcasters, we just basically talked about Cyberpunk 2077 going in November.
If you don't know about it, then shame on you.
Yeah, this is going to be my I hope this is my next Mass Effect, since Mass Effect 1 through 3 is not getting remade. So that being said, I hope you all enjoyed our topics. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback, love to engage with folks. Our Twitter handle is at Justice Sith. And please enjoy your Father's Day. Please enjoy time with the family. And I hope you have a great week. As topics get hot, we plan on bringing some content during the week. If not, join us for our typical Sunday podcast. And with that said, see you on the Sith side.
Bye.
Bye.